if you do enjoy seeing stuff like this or something in its general nature, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything I do in the future. I do plan to post at least once a month, so there's that to look forward to. But without further ado, here's the video. Magic the Gathering's flavor and mechanics have always been at odds with one another. Now, they don't oppose each other in any way, but when you're juggling a set with so many cards, sometimes it's hard to be consistent with each individual card. However, there is this spec, often, where you get a beautiful amalgamation of flavor and function, be it a stroke of genius or just pure luck. You get something like Feldon. Feldon of the Third Path is a 3-to-cast red legendary human artificer. He is opposition to the two brothers during the Brothers' War, even wanting to end the Brothers' War while not taking either Urza or Mishra's side. Now, Feldon was a member of a research group at Teresia City. This is where he met the Argive scholar and, unbeknownst to him, the soon-to-be love of his life, Lauren. The Brotherhood of Gix sold out the Third Path to Mishra, leading to the Inquisition of Teresia City and the separation of Lauren and Feldon. Lauren wanted to take the mythological weapon of mass destruction, the Golgothian Silex, away from Teresia City, but she was apprehended by the forces of Ashnod, torturing her in order to learn how the Silex operated. After Ashnod discovers how it works, he brings it to Urza. Urza, upon finding out the true power of the Golgothian Silex, uses it in a ruinous blast that plunged Dominaria to an ice age. Years after her torture under Ashnod, Lauren managed to escape with the help of Feldon. They were reunited, and they both lived happily together in a cottage, far from the conflict. After 10 or so years, Lauren would die due to her injuries that she sustained under Ashnod's torture. Feldon, feeling this grief, doing anything in his power, desperate to not lose the one he loves the most again, he did something unthinkable. He learned white mana in order to have the powers to resurrect her, but his lack in proficiency in white only let her live long enough for her to say goodbye to him properly. This is an entire saga, by the way. I tried to sum it up as quickly as I could, just so we could get some background onto who Feldon is as a character. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand what he's implying. The subtleties of his artwork, him holding in one hand his cane and the other hand the head of an automaton, beside him, somewhat out of focus, the body of a construct. We've all felt this mystery about it, so I was hoping to bring this to light. Now, the main part of this video, it's how his lore and function perfectly meld together to create this amazing storytelling card and interesting staple in the format. Feldon of the Third Path. 3-to-cast human artificer with an ability that activates when you tap him and spend 3 mana. Let's dissect his ability. For 2 colorless and 1 red, tap Feldon. This is Feldon taking action. He is guilt-ridden, filled with this pain. He will use whatever resources he has at his disposal as an artificer, as a wizard, trying to exert all his efforts to find something, anything, that could help him cope with this grief. That's why he taps, and he doesn't untap by himself, because this is preoccupying him, using whatever resources he has in order to help him think of a way to cope. Next, create a token of target creature card from your graveyard, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. This is him getting a eureka moment, thinking that by creating this artifact, by creating this construct, this thing without a soul could help fill the void he feels after losing Lauren. He uses his magic in order to resurrect something from the graveyard, albeit different. It's not completely the exact same thing. In the same way, when I target a Shivan dragon from my graveyard and bring it back with Feldon's ability, an opponent could easily destroy it with a return to nature. Because it's not the exact same thing. There's something different about it, there's something off about it, and Feldon, being clouded in guilt, can't see that. Finally, at the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice it. This is Feldon finally accepting the loss. This is him realizing that he could create 100 constructs, he could do his best in order to recreate the personality of the one he loves the most, but it would all be in vain, and it wouldn't mean anything in the end, because it's not the person. It's not the fact that they're physically there beside you, it's not the fact that they have the same mannerisms. It's the lack of growth, the lack of intimacy, and the lack of authentic emotion that tears Feldon apart each time he sees this automaton, each time he sees this copy of Lauren. And this is him realizing the very iconic line, "There will never be another Lauren." I believe Feldon is this amalgamation of flavor and function because he manages to convey a story, although vague and although not to the point, just by seeing this card in your local play groups and seeing the flavor text. She will come back to me. And then you shift your eyes to the art, and then you see this tragic man in a cottage. You start to think to yourself, what is he holding? Why is there an automaton? What does he mean by saying she will come back to me? And it's this thought-provoking nature of the card that makes it such an interesting and dynamic way to be a storytelling device, as well as being a viable card in a format. It's the fact that I could use Feldon without completely knowing his lore, without caring about anything about him, as a viable card, and I can also use him because I love his lore. I can use him without having to sacrifice that much. Sure, there's other cards out there that does what he does better. Sure, there's other cards out there that synergize better with certain staples. But the fact that he's viable, the fact that his card can portray this part of his lore, this is beautiful design. And that is why I believe Feldon of the Third Path is a tragedy in 3 parts. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, or you think something could have been done better, or you have your own personal anecdote you'd like to share, there's always the comment section. And if you really did enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. And if you want to see more of this type of stuff in the future, I will be posting once a month at least, hopefully. If all things go well, that is. So yeah, thank you for all the love in the Gridman video, and that's about it. See ya.